Good day to our dear Professor, Ma'am Melissa Di Maculangan, and to our dear classmates. We are the last group, and we are here to discuss the topic Trends in Education. Here are the members that will guide you throughout this topic: John Rio Bastillo, Mean Mahinay, Jill Francesca Manuel, Shana May Paloca, Rain Ira Parala, Roslyn Sanchez, and Mary Joy Tating. The objectives are the following: to identify the major emerging issues and trends currently facing school leaders and their potential impact on society and schools, to analyze the influence of emerging issues and trends on school improvement initiatives, to describe the acceptable approaches to situations arising from emerging issues and trends, and to develop a position on emerging issues and trends in education and prepare cogent arguments for and against specific positions regarding those emerging issues. As our technology evolves, the way we live is also evolving in a fast pace. From the traditional methods of education, by means of learning through books and journals, we are now in a phase where online is also a big part of learning. Higher education is now slowly adopting the digital era. The pandemic has also brought a sudden disruption to education systems around the world. Colleges and schools around the world have closed their campuses and moved delivery of their programs online. With a widespread acceptance and influence of mobile gadgets, providing online education is a concept which can be delivered a lot easier than ever before. Good day. This is Rain Ira Parala, and I'm going to discuss the topics online education and integrated learning solutions. Online education is a form of education where students uses their home computers and available gadgets through the internet to access learning materials and attend synchronous classes through virtual meets. This also proposes a platform to provide education through videos and tutorials to the students of rural areas where they can get it at affordable rates. Innovative teaching frameworks are adopted by several schools nationwide, like Dynamic Learning Program or DLP and Learning Management System or LSM. DLP is the process approach teaching methodology stresses on the writing component to keep the students actively participating in the learning process. In Dynamic Learning Program, students write first the concepts before the lectures or discussions. This enhances better comprehension, active participation in the actual class discussions, and discipline. Many schools has implemented the program, which also features parallel classes, portfolio-based notes, and a no homework policy. Learning Management System, or LMS, is a software that will allow teachers to create virtual classes where they can assign the activities that the learner needs to go through, monitor if the activities have been completed, grade submissions, and conduct online quizzes to assess comprehension in conditions where face-to-face classes are not allowed. The online format allows a dynamic interaction between the instructor and the students and among the students themselves. Resources and ideas are shared, and continuous synergy will be generated through the learning process. Each individual can contribute to the course discussions and comments on the work of others. The following are the new normal in the Philippine educational system. Internet allowed school operations. Teachers meet online with the students to stay connected with them. School administration meets online to follow up on tasks. Online classes to ensure that students continue to receive the intervention needed and to facilitate skills across different platforms and settings. Instructional materials were prepared in such a way that there would be lesser online meetings, and in consideration of the students who don't have gadgets and have limited internet access. Integrated learning solutions. It is not a practical idea for schools to wait till 100% digitalization to give students the taste of modern education. Integrated learning solutions are now an accepted reality in most schools. They are aiming to provide optimum digital infrastructure requirements while keeping traditional textbooks as the base. In fact, it is unfair for a group of students to remain unaware of the benefits of digital education just because of the connectivity and infrastructure issues. Intelligent solutions like a print textbook associated with audiovisual content for a smartboard which is linked to an online assessment structure can work wonders to improve learning outcomes. Integrated learning solutions seamlessly combine print and digital content and the delivery to not just create a consistent learning environment for the student but also for the teacher and the parent. A print textbook aligned to audiovisual content for a digital board and mapped to an online assessment framework is an intelligent solution that is better placed to deliver improved learning outcomes. That's all for my topic. Next topic will be discussed by the next reporter.
Good day, everyone. I am N.A. Mahina reporting about personalized learning. Personalized learning is an educational approach that aims to customize learning for each student without worrying about their weaknesses and capability to study. This learning was designed according to students' strength, weakness, or phase of understanding, contrary to the traditional learning. Students with special needs get the flexibility or freedom to learn at their pace and get a learning plan based on what they know and how they learn best to be competent at the end of the academic year. For examples, the apps like DragonSpeak, which help in assisting dyslexic students or the students who have a reading disability. Another is Braille, which is used by people who can see. This system helps them to read and write. The next topic is professional development of teachers. Teachers or educators are the important people who contribute to the learning of the students. They are professionals sharing their knowledge and experience to the students. They are the ones who teach and train students to become professionals. As we have a pandemic, traditional teaching in classroom is prohibited by the Commission on Higher Education for the safety of all students. As an alternative, currently we have a module and online learning. Like students, teachers also need to adjust for a new normal. Like for example, the MS Teams that we are using as LMS or learning management system. The students inform and orient how to use the app, how to send assignments and upload assignments and files. Teachers also have to learn and master how to use MS Teams to properly teach us. Teachers has to train and take professional development programs to get better and enhance their lateral thinking abilities so students can experience the best learning trends. Next is the formative assessment solutions. Learnings are important, that is why formative assessment solutions are adopted. Through the formative assessments, teacher can able to measure the student progress together with curriculum delivery and analyze personal and social competencies. This technique is seen as effective, that is why institutions now largely choose formative assessment. That's all. Thank you. For the next topic, we'll report by the next presenter.
Cost management in education. As the technology is rising in the education sector, administrations will require in-depth planning to ensure relevant investment. With a correct strategy, education industry will see a great improvement in terms of cost management. In the coming years, educational institutes are expected to invest more in cloud technologies to reduce operational costs. It will also improve the efficiency of operations in the education industry due to shared services. The cost of printing and papers will diminish with the rise of blockchain technology in the education sector. All the course or study materials are available online, thus creating a paperless learning environment which is more affordable while also being beneficial to environment. All the important documents, certificates, diplomas, and others will take a digital form. Sending information, processing transactions, and various other functions will become digital and simpler. This will reduce the labor cost as well, which is generally required to store, manage, and maintain a lot of data in institutes. While other areas will go down with respect to cost, the computing aspect will require more investment. More and more classes are now connected. Ano nga ba ang cloud computing technologies at paano ito makakatulong sa edukasyon? Cloud computing refers to a setup of computing resources that can be shared anywhere, irrespective of the location of the users. Ang cloud ay metaphor ng internet, kaya pag sinabing cloud computing or internet computing, it is the delivery of computing services including servers, storage, databases, networking software, analytics, and intelligence over the internet. Kaya kung walang internet, hindi tayo makaka-access sa mga cloud services. By implementing cloud computing, it becomes possible to bring teachers and learners together on a single, unified platform. Educational organizations such as schools, colleges, and universities need not buy, own, and maintain their own servers and data centers. Rather, they can leverage cloud computing to avail compute power, databases, storage, and other services when they need them. Additionally, they can always be sure about their resources being secure on the cloud, because cloud security consists of a set of policies, controls, procedures, and technologies that work together to protect cloud-based systems, data, and infrastructure. These security measures are configured to protect cloud data, support regulatory compliance, and protect customers' privacy, as well as setting authentication rules for individual users and devices. These companies, among many others, are helping schools migrate to the cloud. First is Google. How it's using cloud computing. Google is well known for its G Suite productivity apps, which include Gmail, Hangouts, Calendar, Google Drive, and Google Docs. The G Suite apps all live on the cloud. A special classroom version is called G Suite for Education, which includes extra features for apps like Google Docs, Sheets, Drive, Gmail, and others. With the Explore tab, for instance, students can use natural language to input formulas in sheets or get layout suggestions in slides. Another product, Google Classroom, links Google's online cloud applications like Calendar or Docs, so it's easier to complete or schedule assignments using a central hub. Next company is Microsoft. Like Google, Microsoft also has a special version of its productivity apps geared towards students and educators, Office 365 Education. Office 365 is the cloud-based subscription version of Microsoft Office, which includes apps like Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. Instead of downloading software to your hard drive, you set up an Office 365 account and save all of your Office documents to the cloud for easy access. Office 365 Education has apps from the standard version, plus additional classroom tools. The third company is Knowledge Matters. Knowledge Matters creates cloud-based business simulations such as the one seen in the picture. These computer simulations are meant to mimic situations students would encounter in a business environment, thereby give students the chance to practice real-world problem solving. Knowledge Matters virtual business lessons span a wide variety of industries, including accounting, fashion, retail, sports, management, hospitality, and personal finance. The company's case simulations include more specific industry scenarios and are geared toward college students. Next company is Coursera. Coursera offers a variety of online courses from established universities and instructors through its cloud platform. It also offers lessons on specific career skills and grants university-recognized degrees. For example, Coursera students can take online computer science classes offered by the University of Pennsylvania to get a master's degree in computer and information technology. Next company is Blackboard. Blackboard provides cloud-based learning software for grades K to 12 as well as higher education and government. Its products include services such as Blackboard Classroom, which provides virtual classroom, video conferencing, assignment management, classroom analytics, and more. Using the company's cloud-based software, students and educators can access Blackboard's tools from any computer, smartphone, or tablet. Last company is ClassFlow. It's designed for connected whiteboards and displays. ClassFlow helps teachers create interactive lessons, quizzes, and activities and then display them or hand them out to students. Since ClassFlow lessons are cloud-based, they can be accessed by the teacher's connected displays or by the students' own devices, making it easy for both parties to access course material. Applications of blockchain in education. First is, it helps in the verification of student records and accreditation. Blockchain technology transforms record-keeping of certificates and students' credentials in learning institutions. There is no need for an intermediary in verifying degrees, certificates, diplomas, and other academic papers with blockchain technology. It can also help educational institutions in accreditation. Second is, it reduces cases of fraud in education. Education is one of the most affected industries by fraud and hacking. Ideally, hackers can manipulate and delete information from education systems. They do this, especially to politicians, to award fake certificates. With blockchain technology, we can avoid all this fraud in education. Blockchain ensures a consistent and transparent ledger for all academic qualifications. Once a college records students' information on an online ledger, it's not easy to change. You will need permission from network users to manipulate the information. Additionally, universities can develop a ledger with a custom blockchain protocol. The platform is vital for issuing students transcripts and certificates. Third is it decentralizing online learning. Learning institutions can use blockchain technology to ensure decentralized online learning. It helps students and instructors share information in real time. When blockchain technology decentralizes online learning, institutions will not dictate the type of courses to publish and the amount to charge on every online course. Fourth is protection from copyright and digital rights violation. In the world of academics, plagiarism is a major problem learning institutions struggle to combat. When students copy digital content when coming up with a term paper and research proposal, it can cost them a lot. For instance, a university can revoke the certificates from such students because of plagiarism. With blockchain technology, content creators will curtail the dispersal of copyright educational materials on the internet. The technology will ensure all people can store academic information in a safe and secure chain with advanced encryption. This ensures the information is only accessible with permitted network users. The owners of learning materials can track, verify access, and allow usage of their digital content. Fifth is creating better learning platforms. Blockchain technology will be useful in the development of better online learning platforms. Notably, universities can develop convenient education systems and projects connecting students and teachers. Using the education concept, schools enhance access and sharing of study materials. Users buy internal tokens to ask for feedback from standby online tutors. They can also download learning materials and access other education services. The changing role of teacher. The 21st century has changed the concept of a teacher too. More than a data feeder, the teacher has become someone who nurtures the learner adequately. The teacher has become a person who guides her class through activities and sharing the wonder of discovery. This trend has become the crux of the student-centered approach to learning. Though involved in the activities, a teacher should keep an eye on monitoring the personal progress of individuals and helping the ones who need special attention and help. The education system of the 21st century has changed radically with the integration of technology in every sector. Now, in the 21st century, educations depend on thinking skills, interpersonal skills, information media, technological skills, as well as life skills. Especially, the education of the present time emphasis on life and career skills.
Good afternoon. My name is Francesca Chil Manuel, and the topic that is assigned to me are quality and budget education. Quality education is the first major issue that the Philippine government should resolve, but somehow it is recently improving. The quality of the Philippine education has declined few years ago due to poor results from standard entrance tests conducted among elementary and secondary students, as well as the tertiary levels. The results were way below the target mean score, high dropout rates, high number of repeaters, low passing grades, lack of particular language skills, failure to adequately respond and address the needs of the people with special needs, overcrowded classroom, and poor teacher performances have greatly affected the quality of education in the Philippines. The National Achievement Test, or NAT, is a standardized set of examinations taken in the Philippines by students in grade 3, 6, 10, and 12. The test is designed to determine their academic levels, strengths, and weaknesses, as well as their knowledge learned in major subjects throughout the year. National Career Assessment Examination, or NCAI, it is an aptitude test geared towards providing information through test results for self-assessment, career awareness, and career guidance of junior high school students of the K-12 basic education program.
Budget education. During the CHED budget hearing, the 3 billion pesos budget cut for the Tulong Dunong program was once again brought up following concerns that around 350,000 college students receiving stipend would be cut off from aid. The budget for Tulong Dunong CHED's needed base scholarship program decreased to 1.19 billion pesos in the proposed budget from 4.19 billion pesos in 2018 General Appropriations Act. The 1.19 billion pesos allocation is expected to fund almost 100,000 students next year. According to the Department of Budget and Management, the budget for program under the Student Financial Assistance Program line item, which includes Tulong Dunong, was rationalized to make way for the implementation of the free tuition law, particularly its tertiary education subsidy component, which was given an additional 11 billion peso allocation in the 2019 budget. The tertiary education subsidy component is allocated 27 billion pesos in the 2019 proposed budget from an appropriation of 16 billion pesos in 2018. Under the test, student enrolled in both public and private institutions can receive allowances for room and board cost, transportation, books, and school supplies. Those in private HEIs can even have their tuition or a portion of its covered by educational vouchers under the same program. There is also additional support for students with disability or those in courses that require board exams. The DBM attributes the reduced budget of the BIF for 2019 to the spending performance of the DepEd in recent years and the shift to annual cash-based appropriations. In 2015, only 39.3 billion pesos have been obligated and only 6.68 billion pesos have been disbursed out of the 53.83 billion pesos appropriated to the fund. In 2016, 82.26 billion pesos were appropriated, of which 59.8 billion pesos were obligated and only 16.38 billion pesos have been disbursed. In 2017, an additional 36.52 billion pesos or 118.78 billion pesos were appropriated to the fund, but only 113.65 billion pesos were obligated and only 7.39 billion pesos were disbursed. With the implementation of cash-based budgeting for this coming fiscal year, the expectation is that the level of disbursement as a percentage of obligations would increase. Education continues to receive the highest allocation in the proposed 2019 budget, with a total budget of 659.3 billion pesos, up by 72.2 billion pesos or by 12.3% from its cash-based equivalent of 587.1 billion pesos in 2018. That's all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I am Janrio M. Bustillo, and I am going to discuss about the affordability of education and dropout rate or out-of-school youth in the Philippines. Affordability of education. Affordability of education is also one of the issues facing the Philippine educational system. Digging to the root cause of this problem lead us to poverty, the socioeconomic disadvantage of students who are members of family with low income. Poverty has always been the primary reason why many students consider to drop out. Another thing to consider is when you study in public school, it doesn't mean that you are exempted from all of the expenses. The school facilities are all free because the government allocated budget for that. But the students are still required to comply with the school requirements needed in their studies. Having the basic necessities for schooling like school supplies, books, laptop, printers, and internet are the edge of students who belong to a family with adequate income. A family that can support your studies and needs is an advantage. At some point, there are some students who juggle studying and work at the same time. Working their ass off just to provide for their need is really a struggle, as they needed to divide their attention into two. It's also one of the reasons why many students consider dropping out and just focus on one priority. The next topic is dropout rate or out-of-school youth. Another issue in Philippine educational system is the high dropout rate. According to UNESCO's data, the Philippines has overall 1.4 million children who are out of school. Furthermore, Philippines is the only ASEAN country that is included in the top 5 highest number of out-of-school youth. As stated by Franz Castro, the Secretary of Alliance of Concerned Teachers, or ACT, that there is a grave need to address the alarming number of out-of-school youth in the country. He also mentioned that the increasing number of out-of-school children is being caused by poverty. The price increases in prices of oil, electricity, rice, water, and other basic commodities are further pushing the poor into dire poverty. Therefore, as the family becomes poorer, number of students consider the option of quitting school and work instead. Back to square one, poverty is one of the socio-economic problems that has domino effect to other sectors. The lack of basic necessities such as food and shelter really affect the life of many youths who want to study. Another conflict arises as pandemic happened. A lot of people lose their job and many families were affected. Because of this financial crisis, some students, instead of continuing to study in the new normal, many prefer the option of work and provide for their family needs first. That's all for my report.
Mismatch. Mismatch refers to incorrect matching. It is commonly analyzed in situations pertaining to a two that cannot be managed. There are many scenarios that can lead to a mismatch. For example, there is a large mismatch between educational training and actual job. This tends to be a major issue at the tertiary level, and it's furthermore the cause of continuation of a substantial amount of educated yet unemployed or underemployed people. According to Dean Salvador Belaro Jr., the corner-educated congressman representing ang Edukasyon Party List in the House of Representatives, the number of educated unemployed reaches around 600,000 per year. He refers to said condition as the education gap. Next, brain drain. Brain drain is a slang term indicating substantial immigration or migration of individuals. According to geographically, brain drain may occur at the organizational or industrial level when workers perceive better pay, benefits, or upward within another company or industry. It is also a persistent problem evident in the educational system of the Philippines due to the modern phenomenon of globalization, with the number of overseas Filipino workers who work abroad at any time during the period April to September 2014 was estimated at 2.3 million. This ongoing mass migration subsequently inducts an unparalleled brain drain alongside grave economic implication. Additionally, Philippine society hitherto is footing the bill for the education of millions who successively spend their more productive years abroad. And that's all for my report. I would like to introduce Ms. Shana May Paloca to discuss the social divide, lack of facilities and teacher shortage in public schools, and the issues regarding the K-12.
Good afternoon, I'm Shana May Paloca, and I'm going to discuss about social divide in education, lack of facilities and teacher shortage in public school, and lastly is the issues regarding the K-12. Social divide, the distinct social cleavage regarding educational opportunities, remains problematic for more than one reason. Historically, in most modern societies, education has had an equalizing. One Filipino columnist wrote, "Education has become part of the institutional mechanism that divides the poor and the rich." There are three primary social classes exist in the Philippines: the low-income class, the middle-income class, and the high-income class. In reality, yung na-apply yung social divide, which is poor and sa rich, in the part that yung mga public school nakaka-acquire yung mga poor, yung mga middle class. Yung quality ng education madalas hindi ganun ka ganda kasi walang pera. So, kadalasan sa Pilipinas kasi hindi pinaglalaanan ng ganung kalaking halaga yung mga tulad ng mga subjects, hindi ganun binibigay ng mga public school dito sa Pilipinas, lalo na yung mga sa college school dito sa Pilipinas. Yung mga subjects na dapat na ibinibigay dun sa mga estudyante, which is dapat related sa course nila, hindi ganun ka na ibibigay. Pero pagdating sa mga private school, which is nagbabayad yung mga student, yung mga subjects nila ay mas connected sa course nila, mas nag-gain sila ng knowledge regarding dun sa course nila. Lack of facilities and teacher shortage in public schools. There are large-scale shortage of facilities across Philippine public schools. This includes classroom, teachers, desks and chairs, textbooks, and audio-video materials. Undersecretary Juan Miguel Luis, reportedly over 17 million students are enrolled in Philippine public schools and at an annual population growth rate of 2.3%, about 1.7 million babies are born every year, which means that in a few years' time, more individuals will assert ownership over their share of the limited education provisions. To sum it up, there are too many students and too little resources. In President Aquino's fourth State of the Nation address, he spoke of government's achievement of zero backlog in facilities such as classrooms, desks and chairs, and textbooks, which has addressed the gap in shortage of teachers. Dito naman sa lack of facilities and teacher shortage in public schools, which totoo naman to kasi kahit kaming mga estudyante nararamdaman namin yung shortage nga ng facilities tsaka sa teacher. Siyempre, hindi rin natin masisisi yung mga graduate na teachers kasi kapag nagtatrabaho ka in public school, siyempre, hindi, ito based lang din to sa mga naririnig tsaka nababalita na mga nagre-reklamong mga professors and teachers na when you're in public school, delay lagi yung sahod nyo. Which is, para sa akin ay mali. Kasi, lahat tayo ay nangangailangan din ng pera. Hindi porket nasa public school sila, ay lagi na lang delay, diba? So, yung sa facilities naman, sa sobrang taas ng percentage rate ng population growth ng Pilipinas, kulang na kulang pa rin yung budget na nilalaan nila. So, as a student, I suggest na every year na mag-assess sila ng kung maglaan sila lagi ng budget increasingly, hindi yung nag-i-stay lang sa iisang budget. Dapat tumataas din yung budget nila the more na nag-growth yung population ng bansa natin. Issues regarding the K-12, there is dispute with regard to the quality of education by the system. The students' performance in both the 2014 National Assessment Test and National Career Assessment Examination were excessively below the target mean score. Having said this, the poor quality of the Philippine education system is manifested in the comparison of completion rates between highly urbanized city of Metro Manila, which also happens to be not only the country's capital but the largest metropolitan area in the Philippines, and other places in the country such as Mindanao and Eastern Visayas. This kind of statistic is no surprise to the education system in the Philippine context. Students who hail from Philippine urban areas have the financial capacity to complete at the very least their primary school education. The second issue that the Philippine education system faces is the budget for education. The Philippines remains to have one of the lowest budget allocation to education among ASEAN countries. The third prevalent issue that the Philippine education system continuously encounters is the affordability of education. A big disparity in educational achievement is evident across various social groups. Social-economically disadvantaged students, otherwise known as students who are members of high and low-income poverty-stricken families, have immensely higher dropout rates in the elementary level. Additionally, most freshman students at the tertiary level come from relatively well-off families. Lastly, there is a large proportion of mismatch wherein there exists a massive proportion of mismatch between training and actual jobs. This stands for a major issue at the tertiary level, and it is furthermore the cause of the continuation of substantial amount of educated yet unemployed or underemployed people. So yun sa third issue lang ililinawin ko kasi ang sinasabi kasi dito, hindi nasusunod yung, di ba meron tayong on-job training? bago tayong graduate, yung mga college student, mga tertiary level na students. May times, madalas kasi itong nangyayari na yung binibigay na trabaho sa kanila when nasa OJT sila, hindi compatible dun sa course na kinukuha nila. So, ang tendency nito, ang nagiging resulto kapag ka nagtrabaho na pumasok ka sa trabaho, hindi mo alam yung gagawin mo. Pasok ka sa trabaho na regarding dun sa course mo, hindi siya yung ginagawa mo ng OJT, hindi align dun sa actual na ginagawa ng trabaho mo. So, yun. Kaya mismatch, yun yung nagiging problema. Tsaka, kahit maraming graduate na students dito sa Philippines, mababa pa rin yung employment rate dito sa Pilipinas. Tsaka, hindi lahat ng graduate sa yung nagiging trabaho nila ay yung kung ano yung natapos nila. Madalas hindi na yun nasusunod.
And that's all for our report. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.